Hello everyone, my name is Pris from Prisperuses and welcome to another video. Today I am giving you my top 10 YA books. So young adult is a genre I read many books in, so it was kind of hard to set together a top 10. However, I think I managed it and I'm here to present my top 10 YA. I must say that I recently fell a little bit out of love with YA fantasy and YA in general, but creating this top 10 reminded me that there is still some fantastic YA books out there. So without further ado, I'm gonna give you my top 10. At number 10 we have All the Bright Places by Jennifer NIVEN. I read this a couple of years ago when I wasn't doing very well. I was feeling very depressed, very low in life, and I think I read this at exactly the right time for me. I got so much out of it. I got inspired by it. I felt a little bit less alone. This book means therefore a lot to me. I don't know if I would like this as much upon a reread, but it is still very special to me and therefore it deserves a place in the top 10. This is about a girl called Violet and a boy called Finch. They are struggling really hard. They are both dealing with depression and they become friends. However, as Violet's world begins to grow, Fish's world begins to shrink. This story was heartbreaking to me. A lot of triggering warnings for like suicide, depression, all that kind of stuff. I read it for me at exactly the right time and I got so much out of this. So therefore it is my number 10. At number 9 we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This book has you at the edge of your seat the entire time. This is about a girl called Pip. For her final project in school, she wants to reopen a closed case. 5 years ago, schoolgirl Andy Bell was murdered by Sal. The police know he did it. Everyone in town knows he did it. However, Pip is not so convinced, so she reopens this case by herself and she gets herself in a whole lot of trouble for it. This is so good. It is so fast paced. It has mixed media as well. You will finish this in absolutely no time. Also, the sequel and the third book in the series are absolutely fantastic. So if you want a quick read that has you guessing until the very last page, you should definitely pick this up. On number 8 we have the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I recently read the entire Throne of Glass series for the final book support group. I finally did it. This series has been on my TBR for the longest time. In the beginning I really liked it, but it was Empire of Storms and Kingdom of Ash that made me feel absolutely in love with the series. Those two books were so brilliant, they were so well done, and I'm just so happy that I finally read the series. I get the hype now and I'm so happy I finally read the series and it deserves a place in my top 10. On number 7 we have Fable by Adrienne Young. I really loved this book. I read it last year. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I really like a good story that's set into sea with pirates and everything like that. I knew I was gonna love this. Well, look at that cover. She's absolutely beautiful. This is about a girl called Fable and she gets left behind by her own father on this island full of plunderers and thieves. Her mission is to make it off this island and prove herself to her father. When she gets on board of this ship called the Marigold, she gets involved into this new crew with new people. She is set out to find her father and get answers of why he left her behind. She is desperate to prove herself to him. This was fantastic. I really loved this. I think this is like a proof that there is still really good unique YA out there. I highly recommend. Also, the sequel to this, Namesake, was absolutely brilliant. I had an amazing time reading these books. At number 6 we have A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Anyone surprised? I don't think so. I think this series really kicked off my love for YA fantasy and I just absolutely loved it. My favorite in the series is still A Court of Mist and Fury. I think the second book in that series is the best book. Absolutely loved it. I love Feyre and Ryzen. This is just such a staple in YA fantasy. I know many people have read it and it got many people into reading. It got me back into reading again a couple of years ago, so I'm forever grateful for that. Also, A Court of Mist and Fury was very important to me for my own struggles with mental health, so therefore it absolutely deserves a spot in this top 10. At number 5 we have Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I absolutely love this series. This is about a girl called Stevie Bell. She is into true crime and she goes to this very prestigious boarding school. She is determined to solve the crime surrounding this boarding school, because back in the day the wife and daughter of the founder of this school got kidnapped. The daughter has actually never been found. So Stevie is determined to find out what actually happened back then, and she gets herself in a whole lot of trouble for it. This series is incredible. It is so good. It keeps you guessing. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. I love Stevie as a character. She is so relatable, and I really love the setting of this boarding school. This story is actually a trilogy. We have Truly Devious, we have The Vanishing Stair, and we have The Hand on the Wall. However, there is a fourth story which is called The Box in the Woods, which is a separate story surrounding Stevie and her friends that is set after the trilogy. All 4 books are incredible. They are amazing. They are fast paced. They are so good. The atmosphere is really creepy. I love a good school setting. I read these books so incredibly fast, and it's just YA at its best. Talking about a good atmosphere and school setting, on number 4 we have A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. I read this last year during autumn and it was the best decision. This was incredible. This is so dark and twisted. It is witchy. It has the perfect Halloweenish, autumnish atmosphere, and I fell head over heels in love with the story. This is about a girl called Felicity. She goes back to Dalloway boarding school. There are some ghosts from her past, which you will find out in the story. But when she goes back to her old school, she also meets Alice. And Alice is obsessed with the Dalloway 5. The Dalloway 5 is a case surrounding this boarding school. Has to do with 5 girls that actually got murdered back in the day. There were rumors that they were witches, and Alice wants to try and solve this case. She asks Felicity for help. Together they form a really unique relationship. And this is all about witchcraft and getting almost lost in a friendship, even though you kinda know it's not a good friendship. This got so dark and twisted at the end that I was just absolutely mind blown. And I loved it. I loved every single page of this. So yeah, number 4 in the list, highly recommend. At number 3 we have Iron Widow. Oh my gosh, I read this year and I fell absolutely in love. This was incredible, and this for me is proof that YA can be unique, refreshing, fantastic. It was so good. This is set in an Asian inspired world that does not treat women very fairly. This is about a girl called Zetian, and she goes out on a mission to avenge the killer of her sister. Holy shit, this was mind-blowing to me, because the emotions in this were so raw. They were so fueled with fire. Zetian as a character was so fueled with all the rage inside of her, and you could really feel it. It was just so pure and raw, and the way it was written, you could really like feel it. I absolutely love this. I fell in love with it, and I cannot wait for the sequel to come out. It's gonna be so good. I want more of this. There is still fantastic YA. Iron Widow is the proof of that. Then at number 2 we have the Ember and the Ashes series by SABAA TAHIR. I love this series with the whole of my being. This is so incredibly good. This is about a girl called Laya. her brother gets kidnapped and she goes to a group of rebellions to try and get them to free her brother. But in order to prove herself to the rebellion, she must go undercover in this very dangerous military school. On the other side we have Elias, who is a student at this school, and he is the best soldier they have. However, he is desperate to escape. Laia and Elias' path, they cross together, and oh boy, all shit hits the fan on from there. Also, we have a character in this story called Helene, and I truly believe that Helene is probably one of the best characters I have ever read about. The emotion, the events, and the growth that Helene goes through throughout this series is top tier. It is just top tier. Also, if you do not follow SABAA TAHIR online, you absolutely should, because she is a gem of a woman. She is so funny and she is absolutely brutal in this series. Do not get attached to any characters because you will cry. Then the very last book, my #1 in the YA top 10, is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I love The Hunger Games, guys. It is so good. So recently I reread this trilogy together with my Patreons, and I had the best time. I got so completely lost within this story, and it is incredible. I read this years ago for the first time in Dutch. Upon reread, I read it for the first time in English, which made it even better. But this is just so good. So this is set in a futuristic world where there are 12 districts. In the past, they have tried to rebel against the government, but they failed. In order to pay for the rebellion, every single year the Hunger Games take place. They pick a boy and a girl from every single district, and they must fight it out together in this epic arena until one person is left standing. This is a well-beloved series. The movies are also incredible, but I just cannot get over the fact that when I reread this, I fell head over heels in love. I forgot entirely about the world around me. I got so incredibly invested again. So incredibly lost. I love Katniss as a character. She's amazing. And this is just, for me, the best YA there is. So there you have it. That was my top 10 YA. If you have read any of these books, do let me know down below in the comments. What are your thoughts? Also, do let me know what are your 3 favorite YA books of all time. I would love to know. If you have enjoyed, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I am gonna leave you for now, but I will hopefully be back with another video. Bye!